Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. You heard it, WCRS. We will never give up, never surrender. Keep listening right here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up. We will never surrender. Oh, that's right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing this morning? Hey, I'm Ann Eller, and I am ready to rock and roll because it's Friday. Let's see, what have I got here this morning? Woohoo! Good morning, Greenwood. That's right. I've been outside this morning with Penny. I'm feeling a little frisky this morning. Hope you're ready for a good weekend. It's actually going to be a long weekend. It's Martin Luther King's birthday weekend. Well, it's actually Monday, but some people started celebrating yesterday, actually, but hey, that's okay. We'll be right here. We'll be here on Saturday. We'll be here on Sunday, and then we'll be back again on Monday. In the words of a 5-year-old when asked, "How do you like school?" he responded, "I like school. It's okay. But do you have to go every day?" Yes, that's what he said to me when I asked him. Sometimes I feel like that too. But anyways, I love doing this. Already, as I said, been outside with Penny here this morning. It's a chilly morning. That's right. Right now it is 26 degrees out there. Feels like 19. We are looking for a high today of 49 degrees. Tonight it's going to, get down to just 36. So it's a heat wave this evening. Tomorrow's going to be a high of 56 degrees, low of 35. And we are looking for, it says, a shower is possible early. That is on Saturday. Cloudy skies early will become partly cloudy later in the day. High of 56. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. You know, I tell you what, these winds we have had here lately are just kind of hard to deal with, aren't they? I mean, you have to really hold on. You could get blown away. All right, so Saturday night, overcast, low near 35. And on Sunday, we're looking at a high of 42. Then right back into that cold weather, a low of 26. Monday, Martin Luther King's birthday, is a high of 50. A low of 25, plentiful sunshine. Tuesday, high of 45, low of 20. Wednesday, a high of 51 and a moderate 35 degrees. And Thursday, high of 58, low of 32. Friday, high of 57, low of 40. We are looking good after that, but this week is going to have some ups and downs, some cold, so be prepared. Want to talk for a minute yesterday about it was an excellent interview yesterday afternoon. I had the opportunity to have Michael Holcomb, Hal, on the air with us. He is the headliner comedian for Greenwood Performing Arts Comedy and Cocktails or Mocktails, going on a week from today. And you can go to their website if you want to read more about it, greenwoodperformingarts.org. That's greenwoodperformingarts.org. You can buy tickets. You can check out more about the event. Doors open at 6. Event starts at 7. They actually have Grampy is the opening act. And then Michael Holcomb will be the headliner. Talked a lot about his life and some interesting parts to the interview yesterday before we went on the air. And I asked him because he spent a lot of time in school. In fact, I think he's graduated 5 times. And he ended up with a PhD. But he speaks a couple of languages, and so I asked him, I said, well, what languages do you speak? And he says, Amharic. And he goes, you probably, and I said, I know, it's Ethiopian. Blew him away. And the only reason I knew that because Jeff had served had a stint in Ethiopia, and I knew that the language was Amharic. So that was a pretty fun conversation to talk to somebody who grew up in Kentucky and Ohio, had the opportunity for a job, a teaching job, ended up in Honolulu, Hawaii, and after 9 years decided to come back and ended up in Asheville, actually right outside of Asheville in Swannanoa. So great conversation. I hope you'll go back and watch it and or listen to it. Not sure, it may not be up on the website yet, but it will be up on WCRS 1450am.net. That's WCRS 1450am.net. And check that out. It's also on Facebook at WCRS Radio. Lots of people like to listen to it on the radio. Then you may want to go back and watch it. You may want to share it. But anyways, we've had some great interviews this week. Michael Holcomb was a lot of fun. We even told some jokes. He asked me if I'd ever done stand-up. I should have told him, no, I do sit down right here on the radio every day. It's not stand up, it's sit down. But anyways, we had a good time, and I hope you'll go back, and I hope you'll get tickets to Greenwood Performing Arts Comedy and Cocktails or Mocktails. It will be at the Greenwood Country Club, and they will have, like I said, doors open at 6. Event starts at 7, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out, and if you'd like to go, get your tickets. All right, that is one thing that's going on, but we had some other great interviews this week. We talked to on Tuesday, we talked to 2 members of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Issaquena chapter right here in Greenwood. We were talking about the tea, the DART, that they're going to have coming up this a week from Saturday. So next Saturday, that is going on. You can hear all about that and hear about Karen Petit's book, Celebrating America. So these are things that you may not know about, but when you tune in right here on WCRS, you get a whole lot of information and usually delivered in a fun way. Also, on Wednesday afternoon, meet me at the diner, we had Carrie Hoffman. She is the president and CEO of the Greenwood Promise. And it's an excellent organization, certainly helps our community, and you may decide you want to get involved. Go ahead and listen to that one or watch it. Those Karen Petit and Stephanie Bowen are on the website, as is Carrie Hoffman with the Greenwood Promise is on the website, WCRS 1450am.net. Okay, so that's a little bit about a little housekeeping here on WCRS Radio. Well, what else is going on, Ann? Well, that's a deep subject. There is so much going on, you can never decide what do you want to talk about. So we are going to be talking about a few things here this morning. Let's see, what did I want to talk about? Oh, yes, Trump and the Nobel Peace Award. The gal from Venezuela who actually won the election but couldn't take it because Maduro kept his title was here. Was here in Washington, D.C., had lunch with President Trump, spent 2.5 hours talking with him, and at the end presented the Nobel Peace Prize that she had won. And I thought it was very interesting. It had been reframed to be able to give to President Trump. So I thought that was very cool and actually a very classy and meaningful thing to do. You know, how do you get back in good graces with Trump? Oh, give him a good gift. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if it's going to work for her as far as what she is looking for to be able to be the leader of Venezuela. But, let's see, I was trying to see, yes, here it is right here. I wanted to see what, if I could give you what it actually said on this. You know, they said the people that are in charge of the Nobel Peace Prize says fine that they go ahead and give him the medal, but he can't have won. So, but she had it reframed. She had it reframed, and I thought it was very classy what she did. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. If it has. No, I don't want to make a donation. I want to see if I can find this for you. Her name is Machado. Okay. Well, I guess not. I guess I don't see it in this report. I thought it was really cool what she had written on that. Don't know if we can see it any bigger or not. I had it pulled up last night. As I pull up a lot of things. Oh my God, you should see my computer. Anytime my tech guy comes in and I have a problem and I ask him, how come this thing isn't working? He goes, maybe because you have too many windows open. Yeah, it is true. It is true. Let's see. I don't know if I see it or not. I was really hoping I could read that. Trump said she's a very nice woman. Reuters was told. Trump told Reuters in a January 14th interview. I think we're going to talk basics. Just hours after Maduro's capture, you may remember, I think she actually thought she would be installed as the leader of Venezuela, and Trump had said it would be very tough for Machado to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country, Trump said at the time. But I don't know whether that's changing anyway. You know, sometimes an award, well-placed reward can make a difference, So I don't know if it will or not, but it was a very politically good move what she did. So I just wanted to congratulate her on that. I think that is pretty cool. And if I run across what it said here, I will give you some more updates on that. But it was very classy. I got to give her credit for being very, very classy on that. All right. So what else have we got here? The thing in Minneapolis just keeps carrying on. There's been there's been a shooting. There's been a lot of activity out there. Trump is saying he may invoke the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to use martial law to make our National Guard and the National Guard deputize them to be able to go anywhere and be able to restore peace. Minneapolis was the site of the Floyd riot several years ago, and of course, Governor Walz was in charge then too, and nothing was done. It does seem like Walz is deciding that maybe pulling back a little bit on this thing is a good idea. So I don't know. I think it's kind of frightening that our country has so much angst right now. Yesterday when we had Michael Holcomb, the comedian, on, he asked me if I knew we had one day of kindness, and on the national calendar there is, I think, one day of kindness. I think it's November 13th. And he goes, why do we have just one day of kindness? It's like we have one day of kindness and then we go back. Well, I was thinking about Christmas, gives you that warm spirit, and the world seems to slow down for just a little bit there. Thanksgiving, there is quite often a little lull in things. And it is true that we seem to fight like heck all the time, except when we have moments where we realize we should pull it all together. And it does get very tiresome. Does get very, very tiresome. So, where it's going to go, who knows? What type of insanity is going to be going on today or this weekend? I don't know. With Martin Luther King's birthday coming up, you think they might tamp it back a little bit, but I doubt it. All right, well, let's talk about some other things that are happening. Alan Wilson did pick his running mate for the lieutenant governor's spot, Rickenbach, Senator Rickenbach. He is a great pick for Alan Wilson, so I think that was a big plus. And of course, our mind goes to, well, who will Pamela Evitt choose, right? Who will Pamela Evitt choose? And I think that this is, they say, I wanted to share that with you. They say that one of the possibilities, which I find most interesting, is the governor's son. Now, whether that is what it's going to end up or not, but that is one of the choices. I thought that we were going to have her on yesterday, but as it's going right now, it's not really, you can't be too sure when we're going to get her on, because it seems like she is going in so many different directions. But it is, that was one of them. And there was another one that, let's see, here's the article that I wanted. This was on Fitz News. South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evitt is reportedly eyeing the son of Governor Henry McMaster as her 2026 running mate, although it remains to be seen whether the Evitt-McMaster ticket instead of the McMaster-Evitt ticket. Yeah, when you got something winning, you really don't want to screw with it. So you just reverse it with who's on first. Is a legitimate possibility or merely political posturing? I think this is going to become the very interesting question. Who any of them did. And by Alan Wilson going out and getting in front of it and choosing Rickenbach, which, as I said, is just an excellent choice, is going to be quite something to, this will be a popcorn moment. You want to get your popcorn and watch this and see who ends up on whose doorstep. The governor's son, Columbia, South Carolina attorney Henry D. McMaster, was previously touted as a political candidate for attorney general. Family considerations precluded him from entering that race. However, just last week, McMaster Jr. reached out to several political intimates, affirming his decision not to campaign for the Palmetto State's top prosecutorial office. However, would he run as her lieutenant governor? Well, McMaster Jr., 37 of Columbia, has never run for political office. His father, however, is one of South Carolina's most well-known career politicians, having served 8 years as Attorney General, 2 years as a lieutenant governor, and the past 9 years as governor. All right, there you go. That's nearly 2 decades in statewide office. I wonder, this is off the topic, but don't you kind of wonder what Henry McMaster is going to do when the time comes for him to turn it over to a new governor? I'm sure that has to, I would think that would weigh heavy when you've been in the most powerful position in the state. Well, I'm not sure it's the most powerful. It's a powerful position. You certainly have the bully pulpit of the media and everything, but I'm not sure it's the most powerful. But where you've been in the public scope, I wonder how it will feel to not be in that position, and will he do anything next, or will he just say, I'm done, I'm done, and just kind of go into the quietness and enjoy his life? Nah, he'll probably get involved in something else, form a political action group or some such thing. So the elder McMaster tapped Evett as his running mate ahead of the 2018 gubernatorial primary. Could Evett now tap McMaster's son as her number 2? I would be a little shocked if that's who she picked. I'll be quite frank, because that just looks too much like political payback to me. She might, but that just looks like a political payback. Just 2 weeks ago, McMaster Jr. contributed the maximum $3,500 to Evett's 2026 gubernatorial bid, further stoking speculation about his potential as a lieutenant governor prospect. Sources familiar with Evett's short list for lieutenant governor have indicated she is more likely to choose a low country lawmaker, possibly State Representative Gil Gatch, as her number 2. She's trying to free supporters of McMaster, one political observer speculated. So, what do you think? What do you think about this? Do you have any interest in it, or it's just, who cares, Ann? I can understand that. Others have suggested Evett is attempting to curry favor with U.S. President Donald Trump. A supporter of the elder McMaster has been closely following the gubernatorial race. Trump's endorsement of McMaster in 2018 saved his bacon against upstate businessman John Warren, who nearly ousted the status quo incumbent in that year's primary. So that is very true. Alan Wilson, just FYI, if you are interested, had an excellent interview on a podcast with Fitz News. I will say a lot of pressure was put on Alan Wilson. It actually was an excellent interview. He had to... Alan Wilson definitely had to defend his record and what he has or has not done as Attorney General. And that was an interview with Will Folks. It's a new podcast series they've started. I thought it was excellent. So you might want to check that out. It's free to listen to. You can find it on, I guess, it's on Apple Podcast. I'm sure you can find it on many others. Just go to Fitz News and you will be able to get that pulled up. So that's a few of the things in the national and statewide news that I found interesting last night. We have so much going on in our world. It really is dizzying, and I know a lot of people are just saying, I want to be out of here and just not deal with any of this. One of my texters that's kind of, I'll use the word, Saucy, said this morning. I'm going back on the topic on the award for the Nobel Peace Prize that Machado gave to President Trump yesterday. She, of course, got the award. Trump had wanted that peace award, the Nobel Peace Award. And, in a lot of aspects, he does deserve. He's done a lot of good things in his first year. It'll be interesting to see what he can and can't do in the rest of his years. Can he bring change in Venezuela to the advantage of the Venezuelan people? Can Iran tamp down? Of course, that is the big question. Right now, it looks like in Iran that they have at least pulled back. They are not executing, but there's a lot of questions about if they're not doing public executions. How many executions are they doing behind closed doors, shall we say, in Iran? The Ayatollah is, of course, not going to go into this good night quietly. But my texter here, my saucy texter here said, accepting an award that is not intended for you and that you did not technically earn is like going to Goodwill and buying a trophy and putting it on your desk. Yeah, and most of the time on those trophies, you can, if you really want to go all out, you can take the little plaque that they put on those trophies and replace it with your name, right? Yeah, there you go. Well, the thing that I think I should have been able to pull that up. I don't know why I can't pull that up for you right now, but I do think that while the Nobel Committee has said that they are not transferring, it's a non-transferable award. From her standpoint, it was a very, very political move and a good move since Trump had not been totally in her court about installing her. Here she is standing there going, what can I do? What can I do? And she had that Nobel Peace Award put in a very nice framed. And let's see if I can find this. I want to be able to ask because I read it last night. What does the Nobel Peace Award award given? I'm a little slow. Given by Machado to Trump. Let's see if it'll pull that up for me or not, because it was very nice. But and I know that was a political move, don't we? We know that was. But kudos to her for making an attempt, because a lot of people would say, of course, we don't know. Are there two awards? Is she going to show up somewhere if Trump doesn't come through and say, this is the original, I kept it? I don't know. You know what's bad? What's bad is we all are so skeptical all the time. I long for the days when if somebody told me or something, or I read something in the news, I didn't have to say to myself, is this really true? Right? Back in the days when Walter Cronkite said, and that is the news on date. Yeah. Don't you wish that we had the ability to just take at face value what is said to us? And I think this is off the topic, as I'm trying to see if I can get this pulled up for you about Trump. I think that has a big effect on our children, too, because children want to be trusting. Children want to be, and now we're raising children to question everything. And just believing what an adult tells them is not something we can have. And I do think that is sad. I think it's sad for all of us that are out there that are trying to figure out the news to be able to do that. So, anyways, well, looks like I'm not going to get it here. Let's go over here. So I do think that is sad that we are constantly in in a place where we have to question what is happening. Why are things the way they are or aren't the way we want them to be? So I do feel that that is sad. Well, we're going to go on and talk about something else. We may come back to it. Let me see if my texter had anything she wanted to put in on this. If you'd like to weigh in, here it is, right? No, that's not it. See if you would like to weigh in on anything this morning. You know the number, 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Let me know what you are thinking here this morning. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that up. Nope, that's not the right one. Yeah, maybe I do have too many tabs open here. Let me see. Maybe I do have too many tabs open here. My computer says my head is tired, Ann. You keep me working all the time. Yep, there you go. All right, well, let's see. Maybe I can put up here. Like I said, here we go. Let's see what we got. We got something else. Yeah, you're right. That shows how much he needs his ego stroked. Yeah, and then she says, yes, you're right, because we all know our parents and grandparents thought whatever Walter Cronkite said was the gospel, and now we have to question everything. So there you go. I think we are educated enough to believe everything we were taught in America and not educated enough to question any of it. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? We are in a mess as far as information, and I really wish that that we could just kick back and not take everything so serious, don't you? That everything was not so critical in our lives, but everything is, and I think it is a shame. Let's see. Anyways, that's we got a lot of messages coming in this morning. I must have hit a nerve here today. And that's a good thing. Let's see if I can get to some of my other information here this morning. No. This, I guess what I will do, I think, I thought this was a most interesting article about the Ford employee who called Donald Trump a pedophile protector, has 1 million plus on the way. Jim Cornette is involved. This was a most fascinating story. WWE and pro wrestling legend Jim Cornette has publicly pledged financial support to TJ Sabula, a Ford Motor Company employee who was suspended following an interaction with Donald Trump. On Wednesday, Cornette posted on Twitter that he plans to give Sabula $5,000 alongside a screenshot of the news report detailing the suspension of Cornette wrote. He says, if anyone knows TJ Sabula, I have a thank you, a handshake, and a check for $5,000 ready. Sabula, a 40-year-old line worker and member of United Auto Workers, Local 600, was suspended after an incident that occurred on Tuesday, January 13th, during Trump's visit to the Ford River Rouge complex in Dearborn, Michigan. While Trump was touring the facility and walking along an elevated catwalk overlooking the F-150 assembly line, Sabula exercised his right to free speech by shouting, pedophile protector from the factory floor, having to do with the Epstein files. Video of the exchange shows an angry Trump stopping briefly, turning toward the source of the remark, and appearing to mouth an obscenity while making a middle finger gesture before continuing on the tour. White House Communications Director addressed the incident in a statement saying a lunatic was wildly screaming explicitive in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response. Following the visit, Ford Motor Company suspended him pending an internal investigation. A company spokesman confirmed the action, noting that Ford has established procedures for addressing inappropriate language and contact within the facility. In an interview with the Washington Post, Sabula confirmed that he was the worker involved in the incident and said he had definitely no regrets whatsoever about his actions. I don't feel as though fate looks upon you often, and when it does, you better be ready to seize the opportunity, and today I think I did that. Interesting play out. You know, there were days in our country where I don't believe anybody would have said anything like that. But today, anything goes. This guy, Sabula, described himself as a political independent who has previously supported Republican candidates, but says he has never voted for Trump. So, he has expressed, though, concern about his employment status, saying that he felt like he was being targeted for political retribution despite exercising his free speech rights. You know, the problem with that is when you're working within a company, I'm not sure that you have total freedom of speech. If you want to keep your job, you better be saying, yeah, right? But anyways, we'll see for this go, but a GoFundMe campaign was set up. It's called TG Sabula is a Patriot. So we'll see where this goes. Interesting. I do think, on a personal note, I mean, many of you may have thought the gesture that President Trump made and the what he mouthed, the explicative that he mouthed, were great. I think as a president, you need to stand above this stuff. I think you need to stand above it. So that's my personal opinion. So just what I would have preferred that he not have responded in such a vitriol. But it is his Trumpian right to do so. There you go. All right. Well, I guess nobody is going to tell me what I wanted to know here. And I guess that I didn't want to know what it means. I wanted to know what it said because it was very classy about what it said. And that's what I wanted to see was on that Venezuela giving Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. I wanted to see exactly what it said. Here it is. Machado, who described her meeting with Trump as excellent, that said the gift was in recognition of what she called his commitment to the freedom of the Venezuelan people. Accompanying the text read to President Donald J. Trump, in gratitude for your extraordinary leadership in promoting peace through strength, and labeled the gesture as a personal symbol of gratitude on behalf of the Venezuelan people. So, was she able to sway him? I don't know, but that was a very classy thing to do, and we'll see if it goes any way at all. I am surprised, actually, that they felt confident enough to be able to protect her in coming to the United States, because, you know, she has spent her life in hiding. I don't know whether she still is, but I'm sure she doesn't feel just totally free to be able to do. All right. Well, that's a couple of the things, not probably the most important things to be discussing this morning, but they are things that I think that kind of go to the flavor of the week. So, What else have we got here this morning? Let's see. Do I have? Yeah, my computer's totally locked down. I might as well just give it up. Here we go. We had another message from my Supremo texter here. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Well, I think people need to remember that free speech applies to the government. It does not apply to our employers. Free speech does not mean no consequence for what you say. And that is true. That is true. It is just like the old example of you can't yell fire in a movie theater. That is not a good thing to do. All right. Well, that's a topic for something that I think we could always come back to. We see it every day, and the media certainly brings it to our attention every day, don't they? So I don't know. I do think detoxing every once in a while from social media and all media is a good thing. Get outside, enjoy without your phone attached to your body. You know, someday kids could be born with a phone in their hand. Maybe a difficult birth, but they'll probably implant them while a woman is pregnant. So when the kid pops out, it goes, "Yes, I know. I'm 8 pounds 7 ounces." And you're my mom and you're my dad. Okay. I did find the conversations that have been going on with Josh Hawley and this doctor who had a hard time just telling us, can a man get pregnant? You know, I don't know why she just couldn't answer the question, because it did not fit her narrative. That's why she would not answer that question, right? But that is totally an example, right, of the insanity of what we deal with. Now, so I think that is about where I'm going to leave it here for today. I'm going to have some good stuff on Monday, so I hope because on weekends I get to really dive into some stuff and look at things. So I hope to have some more good stuff. I'm sure there'll be more good stuff happening. Monday is Martin Luther King's birthday, so it is a holiday. So just FYI, that a lot of places, government offices, banks, etc., are going to be closed. All right, let's go and just kind of look at some of the things that are going on this weekend. I did get a message about an event going on Monday that you may or may not be interested in. But I'm going to try to go to it. It's going to be the Civil Rights Movement, and the Emerald City is going to be what it's about. The Civil Rights Movements and the Emerald City by Dr. Benjamin Mays and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They're going to have a panel discussion about this. This will be on Monday at the Benjamin Mays Center at 5:30. Yes, 5:30 at the Benjamin Mays Center right there, 237 Hospital Street. It is co-sponsored by Lander University and the Mays site. They are going to have an Andrew J. Douglas, author and chair, Political Science Department of Morehouse College. But interesting, they are going to have some very good local panelists. Kevin Witherspoon, who is a professor of history, and the Dr. Benjamin E. Mays Endowed Chair at Lander. Daniel Harrison, professor of sociology from Lander University, and Chris Thomas, who is the director at the Dr. Benjamin E. Mays Historical Preservation Site. So if you're interested in learning more about the connections between Dr. Benjamin Mays, Martin Luther King, that could be a very interesting event to go to. Other events coming up this weekend. Oh Lord, all you got to do is open up Facebook and you just never know what you're going to see, do you? All right, let's see if I got anything here let's see, we need to go to another page. Yep, this is live radio, and live radio. You should be more prepared. Okay. We are not going to talk about that. We are going to check out some of the events that I have here for you. Yep. Let's see if we can get back to where since my computer is froze up, I guess I just can't use the computer. I have to use my phone. Emerald, they're having a whiteout this evening for Zayden Goodman Friday night. He is the young man who was shot last Saturday night up there at Kim's Kitchen. I did find out they had rented the place for a private birthday party, and evidently some other people showed up, and that's where things kind of went bad. But Zayden was a totally innocent victim here. He was very good at hurdles. He was 3 times All-State on hurdles, 2-time region champion, and 3 school records, one of the top junior track athletes in South Carolina. He wanted to become a veterinarian. So from that standpoint, they will be having a whiteout for him Friday night that says, "Our Viking family to honor and remember Zayden Goodman." So that will be Friday night. Varsity girls versus Southside at 6 p.m. Varsity boys versus Southside at 7:30. We ask everyone to wear white, pack the stands, stand together, support the Goodman family. Let's show what it means to be a Viking, united, strong, and full of love. So that is at the basketball game tonight. Other things coming up, other things that I find interesting to mention to you. Over there in McCormick, they are working on the Project Linus at the McCormick County Senior Center. This is coming up this Saturday from 9 to 12. It says, join us in making fleece blankets for children ages 0 to 18 who have been traumatized in some way. No skills required, all supplies provided. We will show you how to make fringe and crochet edge fleece blankets. Every blanket we donate through Project Linus wraps a baby, child, teen in love and warmth where most needed. This is a program that I found out about years and years ago through Carol Scales, who was a big proponent of doing this and they would make blankets for periods of time, and then she would take the blankets and take them to actually not only in our area but outside our area. She would go to where they were needed and just take a carload full of blankets. So it says our chapter serves 8 counties: McCormick, Edgefield, Abbeville, Lawrence, Greenwood, Newberry, and Lincoln and Wilkes, Georgia. We provide blankets to all DSS and foster care offices, 6 hospitals, ER departments, and NICU if offered, abuse shelters, police, fire departments, etc., etc. Please help our Keep a Mission alive. Thank you for your support. That is going on this Saturday down there at the McCormick Senior Center, which is 1421 South Main Street, Project Linus event. If you'd like to stay out of the cold and just go something that'll warm your heart and those of others in need, this is an excellent, excellent project. We also had affordable spay and neuter clinic is coming up on Tuesday, January 27th. They will be doing exams at 10:30, 11:30, and wellness 10:30 to 12:30. They'll be doing a high-volume spay-neuter right here in Greenwood at the Dixie Self Spay spay and neuter clinic there. So please see if you need to get your animal spayed. Check that out, because we'll never get ahead. We will never get ahead of this overpopulation problem if we don't do something about it. So that's another thing. This sounds like a very interesting program too. Lunch and Learn, clearing the air about youth vaping. We hear that vaping is better than smoking cigarettes, yada, yada. I don't know, but now they're coming back, and vaping has some issues. But they are having, through Cornerstone, Wednesday, January 28th, 12 noon, at Cornerstone's Greenwood office. They will be providing a light lunch, limited space, RSVP requested. Call Alan Easler at 864-227-1001. 864-227-1001. What parents and caregivers need to know about vaping and e-cigarettes. What are the ingredients? What are the impacts on youth health? How does vaping impact the community? So that is another one that I think is very, very important to know about. As always, there are oodles of things going on in our community. But for today, I'm going to say adieu. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll just be kicking back. No politics, just kicking back, maybe talking about some events, playing some good music from the past. Yes, I get to pick it out, but it's all classic country and blues. Hope you'll tune in as you're staying home, cleaning up, or just kicking back. Or if you're out there running errands, God bless you. It's not going to be as cold as it was this morning, but it's still going to be chilly. And don't forget, don't forget to check on your pets. If you have pets that are outside in this cold, make sure they have a way to get out of the cold. Way to get out of the cold. It is terribly abusive to an animal to have no way to get out of the cold. And if you're giving them water, we talk about this one every so often. I don't know if we've talked about this. If you have water outside for them, don't put it in a metal dish that the water's going to get frozen and then they have to lick the ice to get any water. That doesn't make a lot of sense either, does it? So make sure they have some fresh water. I think that's going to do it for me. As always, it is my utmost pleasure to be with you in the morning right here on WCRS. We will now cue the curtains. Penny says, it's time for my breakfast. Get off the radio. You know, I love this more than anything else, being with you on any morning. Friday morning, yeah. Okay, we got somebody coming our way. Life incoming. Let me know, incoming. That's it from the bomb shelter. WCRS Radio. Bye-bye, everybody. Take it away and take it away.